So the idea is to get this vlog done in 3 minutes. What I want to talk to you about is writing a CV. If you've never gone for a job before, what you need to do is write yourself a CV. The idea of a CV is to make you look like Jesus before you walk into the interview. Now your CV is going to be broken up into 4 parts, and the first part is profile. This is going to be the opening part to your CV. Basically what you want to do is sell yourself to your employer. Not like a prostitute, but you want to tell them all about yourself and exactly who you are. So basically, just make yourself look as cool as possible. To sell yourself efficiently, use the 5 R's. Reliable, responsible, reflective, responsible, and retarded. Okay, so maybe you want to scrap the last 2, but you want to be reliable, responsible, and reflective, and you want to tell them that you're reliable, responsible, and reflective upon all the work you're going to do inside their job. If you're neat and tidy, have OCD, and are really good at organisation, tell them that you're neat and tidy and are really good at organisation. However, if you're really messy and clumsy, then don't tell them that, just leave that out. Pick something else to go in there. What you really want to remember is that your CV only has about 30 seconds to sell it effectively, otherwise they're just going to scrap it and throw it in the bin. And they're going to have hundreds of CVs come in, so they're just going to throw it away. So make the profile as good as possible. Remember, when you're writing your profile as well, you don't just have to talk about stuff that's going to relate to the job. If you play for a football team or do a specific sport or play a certain instrument, tell them about that and explain why it would help with the job. Part number 2 is your key strengths. The idea of the key strengths section is to tell the employer why you'd be good at their job. So if you're going for a sales job and you're a people's person, then tell them that you're a people's person. Put it in big letters, people's person, and then sort of like write about that. If you're intelligent, then tell them you're intelligent. If you're organised, tell them you're organised. Don't put things bad in there. Don't be like, oh, I'm really shy, timid, and I'm not very good at counting money, because that's really not going to help you in a sales assistant job. I'd say when you're doing your key strengths, put them in bullet points because it really makes them stand out individually. Your key strengths can be linked to the stuff in your personal profile, and it can reiterate that. Part 3 is academic. This is the part that some people find really hard to do because you've got to put down your grade. And if you didn't do very well in your grades, then that sort of lessens your chances for a job, but you've still got to put them down. Just make sure they look as good as possible. If you haven't finished school yet and got your exam results, or if you haven't got your A-level results yet, you can put down your expected grades. So if you're expected 7 C's and 2 B's, something like that, then put down 7 C's and 2 B's. If you can remember your grades for them, then it's really good to put each subject down individually. For 2 reasons. 1, this shows the employer where your strong suits are, and also, secondly, it looks better and it looks more presentable. For example, if you put down, I got 8 A's and 3 A stars, then that's just like one sentence. However, if you put down each subject individually, it looks a lot better. Think about it. If you have English, A, Maths, A, Science, A, Physics, B, blah blah blah, carry on, then it looks better than just, I got this, ta-da. Okay, so part number 4 is the past. The idea of this section is to show the people what jobs you've done in the past. Write down your recent employees and your old employees. The idea being here that the more experience you've had, the more likely they probably are going to be to take you on. However, if you haven't worked before, it's absolutely fine. You can just write, I've been a student at school, and you can even, if you've done work experience, write down your work experience and how that went, because that's a really good thing to show employers that you're keen and eager to work. The second part to the past section is references. What you want to do here is go back to a previous employer and ask them for a reference. What they're going to do is they're going to write down a bit about you and what they think. Now this can be any job you've done. If you've been a sales assistant at Tesco, then you can get that. If you've been in a massive business, then you can get that. If you're a manager of a football club and you want to go to your board and ask for a reference, then you could get that. Likewise though, you can also go to your school and ask for a reference. If you just finished school and you haven't had a job before, then go to your school and say, look, I want to start this job, but I need a reference, so can you write me a reference? And one of your teachers will do that for you. Ideally, you want to have 2 or more references, but if you can only get 1, then just put 1 down. Top tips for your CV. Remember to be confident when you're writing your CV. Remember that these people want to see how good you are. They're looking out for the good people, so don't go in with a nervous CV. Secondly, make it really, really neat and tidy. They're only going to look at the neatest and tidiest ones. If your CV looks like a hand-drawn picture of a penis on a piece of toilet roll, then they are not going to look at your CV. But if your CV looks like it just came from Buckingham Palace, then they're going to be really, really impressed. You can use presentation techniques here, whereas like bolding the titles and putting them in boxes and stuff like that, and making it just look really nice and presentable. Make sure your CV is typed up. That is not even a debatable thing not to do. You have to have it typed up. If you send in something which is handwritten out, like, oh, one time I was at Buckingham Palace and the Queen said I was a total legend. Even if you said that, then they're not even going to have a look at it. They won't even read that bit, they'll just throw it in the bin. So type that up, if that's what happened, which is probably unlikely, but if that's what happened, type that into your CV, but type it. Last but not least, if your CV gets accepted and you go for the interview, then make sure you dress smartly for the interview and make sure you look appropriate and make sure that you've rehearsed what you're going to say. Don't go into an interview thinking, and when they ask you what's your name, you go, Or if they ask you, what can you bring to this company? You don't want to be sat there like, I can bring this rucksack. Oh Lord. And remember, in all areas when you're going for a job, be confident. Okay, so that's been how to make a CV. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful, because I found CV writing really difficult as well. Part 3 is academic.